guys, it's your girl Victoria back to you with another review for The Ultimate Fighter Season 31, Episode 9, Team McGregor versus Team Chandler. And in this case, we no longer really have a Team McGregor. I mean, we got actually two people, but the other two matches, it ain't no Team McGregor whatsoever. Anywho, so we are finally... Listen, don't even pay attention to the last 25 seconds. We are finally at the semifinals, and who is going to go on this match for this episode? It is Austin and Roosevelt. So people get back to the Tough House, and I guess they have a screen in the house where they reveal what the semifinal matchups are. Now, because McGregor only had one person on his team prior who won the quarter semifinals fight, so looks like Dano tried to make it seem like, we're gonna try to put half and half, we're gonna split it down the middle so we can have 4 people on McGregor, 4 people on Chandler, but ultimately the fighters can choose whether they want to stay on Chandler's side or move over to McGregor's side. So obviously, since McGregor only had one person, we can start off with him. Rico, he's gonna go versus Cody, and then we got Brad. They put him as if he was on Team McGregor. He's going to be versus Teamer. And then we have Kurt. They put him as if he's on the McGregor side versus Jason. And then lastly, like I just mentioned before, Austin is showing him as if he's on McGregor's side versus Roosevelt. So everybody who was shown to switch over to McGregor's side, they ain't having it. They want to stay on the veteran side, the red side. That's why I have these red lights, because these two are staying on the red side. So regardless, red wins. And the only person who's willing to go to the blue side, the prospect side, McGregor side, is Brad. Are we really surprised? Not at all. So once he said that everybody else wanted to stay red, I was like, oh, okay, what else is new? So he decides to go on over. Okay, congratulations, you're going to the place you wanted to be in the first place. So everybody wins. And then we have... Chandler explaining to us, since we are at the semifinals and since the first ones to fight is Austin and Roosevelt, and they're both deciding to stay on the veteran side, the red side, Chandler's team. So Chandler is going to stay out of it. He's not going to say nothing in regards to the training, not going to say nothing in regards to when they're actually fighting on fight day. He's going to stay out of it. Obviously, he's going to watch and observe, but he's not really going to put his little intakes or suggestions during the fight like he normally does and be right up at the fence like he normally is. And he said even his assistants, they're going to help insisting in giving them water and, greasing up their face with Vaseline and stuff, but they're not going to put their 2 cents in either, because they're both on the same team pretty much. So, they even let us know from the get-go it's going to be a quiet fight, but sometimes the quiet fights are the best fights, per Dana White. Was this one it? Not really. But that's what it's going to be. So we see Austin and Roosevelt train for the fight. That's nice. And then we have a scene of Connor at the Tough House FaceTiming his... Oh, sorry. I went too far. I was talking about Austin. Connor visits the Tough House. So, he does his, since he's not really involved in any other aspect really with anybody on this show. So he tries to go to the house from time to time to, showcase and personalize with the guys, with the fellas and stuff, and have guy time and whatnot. So I guess they appreciate it. So that's cool. And he comes over with his boys so they can make Irish stew. But it's not really a basic Irish stew. It's his family recipe. And I'm like, oh, it must have been the men of the family, their recipe. Because instead of them having like beef broth or chicken broth or vegetable broth for their stew, they use 5 bottles, probably 16 ounce. I don't know how many ounces, but 5 cans. 5 big long cans of beer as the broth, as the water, the liquid for the stew. So... pretty much everybody on the prospects team thinks it was good and whatnot. I'm just like, I can understand 1 can of beer, because I have cooked with 1 can of beer as a beef stew. I can understand that. But primarily using the beer liquid as the liquid to stew the stew? Interesting. You guys sound like a bunch of drunks. But I think they are. So I'm not really surprised, but I'm surprised at the same time. Like I said, prospects seemed that they loved it. Jason did try it, but he seemed like, it's not really my cup of tea. don't feel bad, Jason. I don't actually, I know you don't feel bad, but like, I probably wouldn't be my cup of tea either. I'll probably be drunk off of one bowl, but that's okay. You know, we ain't talking about me. We got Kurt. He looking at it when Connor brought over the bowl to, showcase, like, oh, I made Irish stew for everybody. Kurt was just looking at his food in the bowl, like, I don't want none of that shit. And I don't think he ate any. He was just sitting there just chilling, but he just looked like he was so annoyed that he was there. Even Cody, when Connor came in, was annoyed the fact that he was there. So it is what it is. It was free food, but it's like food to make you drunk. But anywho, we get to another scene of Austin and Roosevelt training for their fight. And then we see Austin zooming his wife and kids. That was cute to see. And then we get to the weigh-ins. So Roosevelt is first to go up, and he was a quarter over his goal weight. So Austin goes up, and he was 155.5. Now, because Roosevelt was a quarter over his goal weight, I guess he talks with Chandler a little bit. Chandler said, okay, they're suggesting that you cut your hair. Maybe that can help, because even when he did his first weigh-in, he was a quarter over. And then they have some black screens and whatnot. I believe that's so he could take off his pants, boxer briefs, to see if that would help with the weight. I mean, boxer briefs, I doubt would carry any type of weight that would affect your weight if you got on the scale. But, I guess sometimes it does help, because some people, they wouldn't have that item ready to go if it didn't help somebody in one way, shape, or form at one point in time. So when Chandler suggested that he cut his hair, he was down for it. Since Mondo's a barber, he called Mondo over to help him cut his hair. He cut off his dreads, and then by the time he got stepped on the scale again without his boxer briefs, again, let me, forewarn you, we don't see nothing, but, he took his boxer briefs again, I'm pretty sure. And, he made weight. So that's cool. He made 156, so that's fine. And then we have Roosevelt and Austin. They did the face-off. And it wasn't really a face-off. They was like laughing and smiling. So, because they're cool. They're friends and whatnot. So, in this moment, when I'm thinking, because, usually I gear towards one person versus the other. In my head, I'm like, okay, I want Austin to win because, you should know by now. If you've been watching all my other reviews for this show this season, even though this is the only season that I have reviewed thus far for this show, I don't care for Roosevelt. Everybody should know by now, I don't care for Roosevelt. However, like I said, I want Austin to win. But when I was thinking strategic-wise, I'm like, I feel like Roosevelt got this in the bag because of his fast hands that everybody keeps talking about. I mean, we did see that when he went against Homeboy somewhere on the prospect team. So I'm thinking, okay, mentally, like personality-wise, I'm going with Homeboy Austin. Strategically-wise, if I was really putting money towards it, only $5, because it ain't going to be nothing more than $5. It will go towards Roosevelt. So that's why I'm like, okay, I think Roosevelt's going to win, so I'm going to go with Roosevelt. So then we get to see Roosevelt zooming his kids, showing his new hair. He lets us know in the confessional that he apologized to all the Jamaicans for cutting his hair and whatnot. But when I'm looking at his hair, I'm like, honestly, Roosevelt, you look better with your haircut. Because it's like, under all that dreads and stuff, I didn't realize you had such beautiful curls. Like, you have beautiful curls. Like, showcase those curls. Like, I understand you had to cut your hair, you didn't like that, but sometimes, things happen is our blessing, because with the hair cut off, I'm like, you look great. The curl, like, make sure you get some good moisturizer, make sure the curls are popping. You look good without the dreads. Okay, some people look good with the dreads. Some people look good with longer hair, and other people look good with short hair. Roosevelt, you're one of those that look good with short hair. So, hopefully you keep it up. But, it is up to him. If he wants to grow his hair out again, so be it. But at the same time, you might want to keep the haircut like that because it looks good. Anyway, we get to fight. We get to fight day, and I did appreciate the fact that Chandler did walk out with both of the veterans when they, came to do their little dramatic walk to the ring and whatnot. So, because we're at the semifinals, it's no longer 2 rounds of 5 minutes. We are now at 3 rounds of 5 minutes. So we get to round 1. And I'm looking at round 1. Within the first 2 minutes, I'm like, oh, this ain't going to be nothing. Because literally when they was doing round 1, they were both shuffling. It looked like they was both afraid to hit each other. Like, Roosevelt, you just said before you got to the ring that y'all friends, but y'all here, y'all know what y'all got to do. Y'all going to give a good fight. What good fight was this? Round one showed absolutely nothing. Nobody did nothing. Y'all seemed like y'all was afraid to punch each other. So I'm like, so you wanted to go to all 3 rounds, Roosevelt, because when you fought the prospect, the fight was over in 10 seconds to the point where I didn't even know what was going on. Now that I've been watching a few episodes, I kind of get the gist of things, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, but you guys aren't doing anything. No one's punching the other, y'all doing a little kicking, but like there's nothing happening here. And it's like I didn't even spend the $5, but I want my $5 back. So nothing, like absolutely nothing happens. The only thing that really happens was the fact that Austin did punch Roosevelt in the crotch, and I'm like, I know that thing hurt, because just think of the force that Austin was punching, and to hit your genitalia with all the nerve endings and all. I understand Roosevelt. Like I don't understand because I'm not a guy, but I can imagine the pain coursing through your body in that moment. So, you was able to get up. The referee said it was going to give you 5 minutes, but you got up within a minute or so. So, you strong. Good for you. But after that, when they get back to it, the match ends, and at that point, I don't know who won. So then we get to round 2. They shuffle around again. Ain't really much happening. But I did give Austin his points because he was able to, give Roosevelt a takedown. And I'm like, okay, we working on something. But even then, it really didn't give much, because at points when he was on top or, against the fence or whatever the case may be, like they would just pause. They wouldn't be doing nothing, to the point the referee had to said, come on, guys, let's do something. Let's go. What is going on here? Y'all supposed to be the veterans. I understand y'all friends. Trust me, I get it, but like y'all both fighting for the same title. Like y'all friends, but not to the point where you guys can't do nothing, because y'all both fighting for the same thing. So when it comes down to it, you're gonna have to do what you gotta do if you really want what you want. So other than the takedown, nothing really happens in round 2. And even when the point where it was on the floor, like I said, sometimes they wouldn't even do nothing, and other times I just felt like it was 2 brothers fighting, because it's like y'all hitting each other, but y'all not hitting each other with force as if you was like you were when you was fighting the prospects. Like y'all was fighting. This is kind of like, little kitty cat fight. And even to the point the ref had to tell Roosevelt a lot of the times, watch your fingers, because you going like this and not like this. So I don't know what's going on here. So round 2 ends, and I'm just in conversion, because I'm just like, what are we doing here? And then we get to round 3. So round 3, Roosevelt was able to dominate Austin and take him down. And I'm just like, okay, he was able to take him down. But by the time it ended, I'm like, when Dana White and Chandler was talking about the fight, no one really knew what round 1 and round 3 was going to do. Like, round 2 was the only one that was like, okay, Austin got that. Round 3, I would say that Roosevelt got that. Round 1, I don't know who got that. But I'm thinking like, okay, if I were a judge, round 1 is already depleted. And round 2, Austin won. Round 3, Roosevelt won. So I'm going to just think of, okay, who had the other person, who took down the other person for the longer time. And in my personal opinion, I was just like, okay, I think Austin had Roosevelt down way longer than Roosevelt had Austin down. So we'll see if they use that as a tactic. But while the judge was deliberating who's going to win and whatnot, we have Dana White's commentary about the fight. He was unimpressed at all. Did I write anything specific? He just wrote that he just said that he was disappointed in the fight because they were slow and showed no sense of urgency, and he was very upset because disappointed and unimpressed because these are veterans. They fought in the UFC before. Yes, the UFC before. I'm so sorry. I don't listen. Forgive me, but they fought in it before. They fought in the Ultimate Fighter before. UFC. Why am I getting so confused? Listen, it's been a long day. Anyway, so they should know how this thing goes. And the fact that because they were friends, because that's the excuse Chandler was giving, they're friends, they've been friends for 4 weeks, so that probably caused a delay. Dana don't care. He said it don't matter. Okay, we here to see a fight. And as people who done this before, this should be nothing new. But you know what, Dana, I don't know what to tell you. Stuff like this happens, I guess. Okay, so I don't know. Listen, but somebody got to win. So after deliberation, Come to find out, Austin done won. So he's going to the finale. Of course, he's ecstatic and through the roof, but trying to be humble at the same time because he's cool with Roosevelt. Probably don't want to get him, you know, don't want to make him feel more bad than he already feels. And, Roosevelt's disappointed, obviously, and admitted that, he effed up and he didn't do his job, but at least he lost to someone he respected. Listen, Roosevelt, I'm surprised too. I'm disappointed in you too because I would have lost my $5 because I bet it on you, with my invisible $5. And I mean, this gives you some kudo points with me because of the fact that you said you thought you wasn't going to go in being like, oh, this is a friend, but you kind of went in like this is a friend. So I'll give you kudo points that you were thinking about loyalty in a sort of aspect. Probably not really, because you might be hearing me right now and be like, loyalty, Victoria, what are you talking about? I don't know, but I felt like he was showing he had heart. And you win brownie points with me, but don't let it happen again. In regards to your career, because at the end of the day, you trying to reach towards a goal, and clearly you seen Austin won. So next time, just do what you got to do, and then y'all still gonna be cool later. Look at Jason and who he fought, Landon. Yeah, I think it was Landon he fought. You know, obviously Jason beat his ass. Kind of, sort of. But they're still cool, and even to the point that he gave Landon some pointers. So it's all right, Roosevelt. You'll be all right. Anyway, anything else happens after that? No, we find out that Brad is going against Timur next, and we see the previews for next week. And Brad's just going to be ecstatic that he's on the blue team now because that's where his coaches are, and he coaches with the Ireland. I don't. I'm so bad at this. But I thank you guys for watching anyway, even in my mishaps of this episode. I'm gonna go take a nap. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you left at least once, please subscribe. If you didn't live, come back next week, hopefully, so you can subscribe by then. Comment down below what you thought about this episode. Be easy, breezy, lemon squeezy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.